Go ahead.
Okay, we'll
Camera's
begin.
on, Joe?
Yeah, you're all set, so go ahead.
Yeah, we'll begin. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so I guess just an announcement for the public. We now have the capability of doing YouTube live streaming. I think it's working. We're testing it out tonight, so hopefully the next meeting we'll be able to advertise for YouTube as part of the technical difficulties we had getting started here a little late. So that's one encouraging thing. We had that a couple years ago, and then have it for a while. So it's a plus, especially in today's day and age when we can't have the public joining us for these meetings. The next item, just a coronavirus update. I'm sure many people are already aware, North Country has met all the metrics that the governor has required, allowing us to move into phase 1 after the 15th. So certain businesses, certain types of industries and businesses will be able to open, and the town is also making its plans on how we're going to start reopening some of our facilities. And the only other announcement that I have is that Grievance Day is May 26th. There's information on the website. Anyone, this is a revaluation year. I know there's been a number of phone calls I've received and that other people have received as well. Patty Ogier has made herself available a number of days. They're all located on the town website. But if you are grieving, it'd be best to give her a contact and talk about how she's arrived at your assessment and decide whether it's necessary to put together the application for the grievance day. But in any case, the grievance day is May 26th.
What date did you say the community one was open?
Well, I didn't say we're opening it yet. I just said we're working towards how we reopen our.
Oh, no, I thought you had a date.
After the 15th is when we enter into phase 1. Yeah, but no. Those are still to be determined from the town's point of view. Okay, there's no Board of Health report, no committee reports. I don't really have any updates on airport because we haven't met. Public safety, Dave, you don't have anything on public safety, do you?
I've got the stats here if you want me to read them.
You can, if you can just, we're going to put them in minutes.
Well, building permits, there was only 2 issued. There was no other action taken by the building inspector. And in the police chief, the chief's report, we had 187 calls to service, 8 arrests, 44 traffic tickets, and 6 accidents. That's it.
It's been obviously much lower, given the fact that people have been staying home, which is good. Okay, highway, I don't have anything on highway. Building and grounds, parks and rec, I know you guys haven't met yet. You're contemplating when your next meeting will be, but do you have anything that you need to report?
We've had a lot of repairs.
A lot of repairs?
A lot of furnaces. Police department, library, 3 times. That's it.
Human services for the youth. So we're just following, I know there's been some inquiry about the summer program, and we've been having some discussions, not only locally at the town level, but also the county level and state level, just regarding, whether to open, whether not to open. There's many questions still left unanswered, which puts the town in a situation that it doesn't always like to be in, and trying to safeguard, anyone we'd like to have come to a program. So that, along with the fact that the remainder of the 2019-2020 school year has been canceled, and by being canceled, that's the main facility for our after-school our summer program. The town is making the decision to cancel the program for the summer. So as unfortunate as that is, we know a lot of people, a lot of families, a lot of children benefit from that program. But due to the circumstances we're going through right now, the town had to make the difficult decision and feels that it's in the best interest to cancel the program for this summer. As far as human services and the seniors, I don't know, Tom, if there's been any, have you had any?
No, the building's closed, so the seniors haven't met, so there's really nothing to report, so.
And we're still maintaining the same delivery service for the seniors with our senior bus. So
Right.
that'll continue until otherwise notified. From a public works standpoint, I did have some updates from AES. I won't go through every one, some of them are just minor. People have made mention of Bellamy being out on Street Road. They're doing their final restoration work from the main water project. The town is still working with AES on the water meters planning project, currently reviewing all the parcels within each district to determine if there's any other issues that need to be taken into account as we move forward with the water meter project. We're also looking to consolidate our districts, which is going to be a benefit to the town from an efficiency standpoint, so that work is going on concurrently. The town is also looking to seek grant funding for the Veterans Road Water Main Project. Next year, the Veterans Road culvert will be replaced. The design is going on this year, with the intended construction taking place next year. And in conjunction with that, we're trying to also take care of the water main, because that'll be a kind of an integrated component with regards to the water being, making the straddle from one side of the road past the bridge to the other side. So we're looking right now with through some state funding to get that paid for. And then we also have this lead service line replacement grant that we're working with in conjunction with some of the other projects in town to remove some of the lead in laterals. The state has they provided the town nearly $600,000 towards replacement of laterals that contain lead in them. So we're trying to come up with a strategy to determine how best to take advantage of that grant funding to safeguard our constituents from that may have lead in their laterals. And from a sewer project standpoint, the wastewater treatment plant project is essentially done. That is the portion of the project that is taking place at the wastewater facility. As you all know, that's really a three-phase project. The wastewater treatment plant is one phase. The David stream that's out and around the community building is the second phase. And the third phase is the Portage project, which is going to be initiated sometime later this month, early June, that is going to replace the utility laterals in the Portage, that being sewer, water, and stormwater, and eventually reconstructing the road next year, along with new sidewalks and other ancillary features to really make that corridor much better. And other than that, there's some additional planning going on for some of these smaller projects that we're still trying to wrap up through the wastewater department. So those are Greg's notes from AES. I do have one resolution, and that is a resolution to approve AES project number 4872. This project is for aeration tank grid engineering for an amount not to exceed $5,000. This is already in budgeted funds, but the agreement contract had come through for that work. So I'll move that resolution.
Second.
Any questions on that at all? This is work that Derek had allotted last year, and we budgeted for it, and they just provided for it. Yeah. So, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. I don't have anything for health insurance. We should be finding out in June what the anticipated rates may be for next year for health insurance. Of course, they have to go through the process of being vetted. They won't be confirmed until later in the year, but we'll have an idea of what those rate increases might be. Contract negotiations, we're still working with the highway to finalize theirs. We met before the pandemic. We haven't met comments in, so hopefully sometime soon we'll be meeting with them to get some sort of resolution for that. IT cable TV, I think there was one charter, right? I don't have it in front of me.
Neither do I.
We'll post it on the website.
I emailed it to you.
What's that?
I emailed it to you.
I know I have it, I can pull it up, I just have to.
It'll be in the report.
It's the launch of ITV Gold High Definition in Hindi View and subscription services. So we'll put that on. And then as for IT, I've made some headway. We've had some issues with being able to move forward. Part of it being trying to figure out what our username and password have been. I finally was able to track down that information. It's taken me a while, but that should open the gates again to continue moving forward on our networking integration and the new computer software, new computer hardware that we're looking to get across the town to upgrade old antiquated systems. So hopefully next report I'll have a much more substantial movement on that front. And so unless there's any other questions from any of those, we'll move into resolutions. Okay. Resolution to accept and correct the minutes of the regular town board meeting of April 16th, 2020.
I'll move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Resolution to accept Mike Porter's retirement effective March 20th, 2020. I'll move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. A resolution to award the dirt and gravel bid to Pat Armstrong Incorporated.
I'll move it.
Second.
We do this every year. We announced it a couple months ago, and so, all in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Resolution to authorize the supervisor to execute a contract with AES Northeast for the sawmill, the French sawmill reconstruction project at Bicentennial Falls. This will be AES project number 4823. $100,000 comes from funds through the DEC Smart Growth Grant that we were awarded last year, and the town is required, per that contract, to provide a 25% match. So,
I'll move it.
Second.
any discussion on that one at all? This is just ongoing work that we've been doing. Hopefully with this phase of surveying work and site plan work, review work, we'll be able to get to construction next year and start looking for grant funding for that, so.
So the 100,000 plus the 25% is just
125
for plans? For
No, the site plan survey work, all that, that's what they've started with. They provide us up to $100,000.
Right,
And we have to provide up to
Right.
25% match, but in talking with them today, there's some other work that they may do in that. The total cost they have right now does not exceed $100,000.
Okay.
So it's up to that amount, and the town has to match 25% of that, so we're not gonna move anything over until we know, there's still some additional funds, I think, left from the last plan, so. Anyway, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So carried. Resolution to temporarily reduce the monthly lease agreement payment for Silver Bay Teen Center to a 50% monthly rate for the balance of the lease.
So moved.
Second.
This is through some discussions because of, obviously the closings of their program and a couple other programs. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So carried. And a similar resolution to temporarily reduce the monthly lease agreement payment for ACAP to a 50% monthly rate through and including August of 2020.
I'll move
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. All right. Resolution to award the transfer station shed construction project to DL Page Building and Excavation in the amount of $30,500.
I'll move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. And a resolution to approve the contract for real property. And Tanya, I don't know if we've done this in a while, but do you typically read up the parcel map numbers?
You can read off that first,
Whereas?
and probably the
Okay.
second. For you know.
All right, so this is a resolution approving contract for real property. Whereas in order to promote public health, safety, and welfare of the community within the town of Ticonderoga, the town board has researched the acquisition of a property owned by Shane T. Porter and Shauna Porter, located off Second Avenue in the town and identified as tax map parcels 150.34-4-16.100 and 150.34-4-17.000. Determined that it is in the public interest to acquire said property for the management of stormwater and sanitary sewer and other similar and related uses, and as such, such uses as the town board may deem fit in the future. And whereas an appraisal has been prepared for the town board by Armstrong Appraisals valuing the parcels at $130,000. Whereas a contract has been prepared and submitted to the sellers at the appraised price set forth above, and the sellers have indicated by execution of said contract that they are willing to sell the property to the town for the price set forth therein. The town board is interested in proceeding with the purchase, and the purchase is an action subject to the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act and a short-term environmental assessment form consisting of both parts 1 and 2. They've been prepared and submitted to the town board.
And you can do the resolves.
Yeah, the resolve that the town board has reviewed parts 1 and 2 of the environmental assessment form and taken a hard look at the potential environmental impacts of the acquisition of the property, and hereby finds that the acquisition does not have the potential to cause one or more adverse environmental impacts. And be it further resolved that the town board approves of the contract as presented, and the supervisor is authorized to execute the same in the name of the town of Ticonderoga.
That's all right.
Is that, huh? Okay. You want to do a roll call vote on that? Any discussion on that property? Since I've been here, I know that this goes back before my term, several administrations in the past. Just a lot of the work that's been done in there for sanitary sewer, for stormwater overflow. The flooding that we've had on St. Clair and Grove Street, and we've tried different ways to mitigate it. This is a systemic problem. It's not just one area. It really kind of trickles all the way down through that. So, it's not like the town looks to go out and seek purchasing of properties, but in this case, I think the town could do a lot more by owning it to remediate the property moving forward. So I think this is a good solution for us to take at this time. So with that, if you want to do a roll call.
You need a first and second.
No, I'll first.
Second.
Roll call vote, Tom Cunningham,
Aye.
Joyce Cooper,
Aye.
Dave Woods,
Aye.
Joe Giordano.
Aye. Resolution authorizing the creation of new budget accounts. We've got one for a building personnel screen, drug and alcohol hearing. This is not one we've had before. Usually every department has their own drug and alcohol screening one, and we didn't have that one prior to for random drug tests and so forth, so we need to add that one. And the next one is it's for street lighting, electric charging station. These are both expense accounts, by the way. With the newest edition of the charge point that we have behind the Elks building, that'll now be, there'll be certain costs associated with operating it and then certain revenues to come from it. And so we created two line items, one to take care of the expense portion of it, which is listed in there as 5182.496, and one to handle any revenues that we receive from people utilizing the service moving forward, as well as to take in the grant money that we received from NYSERDA or their equivalent of $8,000 towards this project. So that one is A1721. Any questions there with these three additions?
That 23 is a monthly charge?
I believe so.
Must be.
Yeah, they're for delivery.
Well, that's just for sitting there right now.
Right, risk of delivery, yeah. The supply will be a separate charge, but that'll be offset hopefully by the revenue depending on what we set for the rate for that. So I'll move that one.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. So the next one, basically with the creation of these, the first resolution, these next ones then need to make some budget transfers from contingency to pay off the current invoices in those amounts. So $62 for the screening and $23.13 for the monthly bill for the operation of that charging station, and that'll just come from contingency. So I'll move it.
Second. Excuse me, second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So carried. Resolution authorizing the following interfund loans. These are just due from loans from the, this would be sewer, Central Sewers, providing money to Central District Number 8, $887.09 until the funding is received from 8 to make payment back. And the other one is Central Water, paying towards the Chilson Reservoir Replacement account, H36, and then $25,804.50 until funding is received. We've done this before, almost every month. It seems like there's some fund transfers. Yeah, so I'll move it.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So carried. And then the last thing, resolution authorizing the following interfund transfers. So this has to do to the capital project that we've set up for, with B&L, Barton and Lejudas to do the Chilson Eagle Lake, what do you call it? Preliminary engineering report, sorry. Saw the acronym, I can remember that. It's difficult. So they are just about finished with that. We should be receiving that here shortly. It's due, as you know, from the Department of Justice by the end of June. So, we've been in constant communication with them to make sure we don't miss that deadline, because we don't want to have to deal with any additional penalties and so forth.
Does this virus affect any of that, with meeting or anything? For
For
the Chilson, meeting with Chilson?
We don't have a meeting set up with them, but this is to get the preliminary engineering report. Yeah, no, the engineering firm's working on it, and we'll submit it, and then they're still working on a coordinated effort with the folks up in Eagle Lake and Chilson. Yeah, but they're handling that on a separate grassroots level. We've got some people that have stepped up from Eagle Lake and from Chilson, I believe, to help have discussions, so we can try to, make the whole process more smooth moving forward. So I don't know how that's going. The engineers have kind of taken that on with a few of the constituents in that area. And I think they've been communicating via email for mostly. So once we get this big, this document moving forward, then we can continue with those conversations to really try to find the best solution, for that area, and then take the next steps that we need to do to try to find out what additional funding is available to help facilitate that. So. All right, did I give a first and second? I'll first.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Resolution to pay the abstract.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. And a resolution to accept the supervisor's report.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So carried. Anything else that you guys have? I know it's been quite quiet, but hopefully quiet here, but definitely busy everywhere else. Tony, do you have anything that you want to? Okay. That's it. That's all I got. So we'll adjourn.
Write that one in the record books.
Yeah.
Amen.
You got to shut it off though, right?
That's all right, I don't care if they heard that.
No, I don't mean that. You take your,
Done, right?
yeah,
Okay.
that's